Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
The following portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Is black gold really in the Bahamas? Well, nobody knows. Good evening, I'm Opal Roach, and this is The Bahamas Tonight. It will take an oil exploration to determine whether the country's resources include black gold. Now, while the company is ready to proceed, government has said it will allow the people to decide whether to make that move. Earlier this week, there was a bit of confusion over whether licenses were granted for a major oil firm to proceed with drilling, but government said no such thing happened. Today, our Janea Noel Ferguson sat down with one of the company's executives who shared their position on the matter.
BPC's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Paul Goussois, is confident that after public consultation, Bahamians will vote in favor of oil exploration in the Bahamas. He, however, remains tight-lipped on whether or not the company has been given the green light to proceed.
The comments on the licenses need to come from the government. They're the ones that control the licenses.
Leading up to the May 7th general elections, the former administration denied that BPC's license was renewed and denied that the government accepted fees submitted for annual rental of its 5 petroleum licenses for the year April 2012-2013. The former government had yet to determine its course of action in connection with license renewal. The Christie-led administration at the time promised a referendum on the issue. However, a few days ago, BPC issued a statement stating that it is and has always been in full compliance with the terms of the signed oil exploration licenses, the provisions of the Petroleum Act, and the petroleum regulations of the Bahamas.
We were waiting for confirmation from the government. We had submitted a check, and there was nobody in government at the time because the government had been dissolved, the previous government, to accept the check. But now we've submitted the check, it's been accepted, and we are moving forward.
But does moving forward mean that the license was renewed? Goussois refused to budge on the matter, only reiterating that the government would have to address this issue.
The status of the licenses come from the government.
BPC's top executive admits that since talks of a referendum came about, their plans have been delayed as they hope to begin exploration by April 2013. Were you disappointed that this whole referendum idea came about?
Yes, it does put a hurdle, but again, I'm perfectly confident that when we communicate the facts and people understand, what the real risk is, what mitigation measures we're putting in place, and what the potential benefits are, that they're going to vote for it.
He also cleared up some common misconceptions about this process.
The biggest misconception is that the oil is already there. It is an exploration prospect, and there is a chance when we drill the well that we won't find producible hydrocarbons. In fact, we put the risk at somewhere between 1 in 3 and 1 in 4 that will be successful. So that means 2 times out of 3 or 3 times out of 4, it won't find commercial hydrocarbons. The other misconception is what the benefits to the government are going to be. People have been on radio shows saying there's only a 12.5% royalty, and other countries get more than that. In fact, the royalty is a sliding scale that very quickly goes up to 25%. And if we find what we think is there, it'll quickly reach 25%.
He is, however, optimistic about the prospects of oil in the Bahamas.
I am confident there is a trap. I am confident there is reservoir. I'm confident if we can drill deep enough, there'll be extensive seals. The big question is there source rock, and has it generated enough oil to fill the structures? The government in the first 10 years of our production would have an income of $30 billion.
Janea Noel Ferguson, ZNS News Network.
Now, BPC's chief operating officer says that if they are successful in finding oil in Bahamian waters, then this could mean a reduction in electricity cost.
Part of the reason the energy rates are so high now is because the government is dependent on tariffs for their income. And of course that drives the price of the heating oil or the oil that's used to generate the electricity up, which translates into higher energy costs. With this alternate source of income, the government would be in a position to reduce those tariffs, not only on the fuel oil, but other items that are critical to the economy, so that they would become cheaper to the Bahamians.
The executive says the company is also hoping to offer shares.
We're very actively trying to get our shares listed on the BISX so that Bahamians can buy those shares and participate in the ownership of the company.
Okay. Switching gears now, the Christie-led administration has been pushing for a proper health insurance program that all Bahamians can benefit from. Noting that so many lose their lives because of the high cost of health care, government has proposed a comprehensive insurance plan. While many critics have opposed the plan, saying it's too expensive, Prime Minister of the Right Honorable Perry Christie says government is already dishing out millions in this area.
I'm now compiling how much the government spends a year on health insurance. When you add up everything, we're approaching $100 million a year. Well, hell, if we can't afford national health insurance, you tell me, just start counting it. Because it is one way of being able to give people access to the level of health care they need.
From the crime beat, detectives from the capital are in Long Island investigating a police-involved shooting. According to reports, a suspect was shot by police after breaking into a home in Scrub Hill. Now, we're told that officers were in the area after 1 o'clock today, and when the man saw them, he produced a shotgun. That's when he was taken down by the police. The suspect was taken to the local clinic and later airlifted to the capital for medical care. The incident took place after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, there is a decline in the unemployment rate. That's according to the latest labor force report. In New Providence, the rate fell from 15.1% to 14%, while in Grand Bahama, the figure shifted from 21.2% to 17.3%. According to the report, more than 191,000 persons are employed, with women leading the pack. Now, the participation rate for women increased by 1.5%, while for males it fell by 1%. The 6-month survey also indicated that the unemployment rate for youth between the ages of 15 and 24 stands at 29.4%, which is a decline of 4.6%. As for discouraged workers, there's a decline in that area by 3%. The labor report survey was conducted in May of this year. Well, government pumping millions into those roadworks, and with such a substantial amount, we're hoping that maintenance is a priority. Andrew Knowles tells us what measures are in place to protect those thoroughfares.
With an extraordinary amount of money being spent to improve the roadways in the capital, proper maintenance becomes paramount to protect this investment. That's why Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works Philip Davis is committed to the implementation of a proper road maintenance management system.
The problem has been we have been able to build and create roads and buildings. The problem has always been is how we maintain them, and hence the need for, when we go to repair, we find that we have to spend more money than necessary. We think quick response to defects will all go well and save us more in the long run.
There is already a division within the Ministry of Works which deals with potholes and minor road problems. However, Minister Davis says the division will be provided with the necessary tools to carry out its job more effectively and efficiently.
The focus going forward is to have a dedicated department that will be ready to respond immediately. There will be surveys done on a regular basis to see how the roads are holding up, and where there's need to seal and or patch, it will be done.
While addressing members of the Rotary Club of West Nassau on Thursday, the Works Minister noted that money will have to be spent on equipment and materials to ensure that a rigorous schedule of pothole patching and regular resealing of the roads is implemented.
It is considered that if potholes are routinely and properly repaired, and then roads are regularly resealed, they could have their lifespans lengthened into multiple decades, thereby saving the taxpayers from having to fund the many millions of dollars which have been regularly spent on replacing neglected roadways, not only here in New Providence, but throughout the country.
Now, the ministry has a hotline in place to report potholes and other road problems. Minister Davis is encouraging the motoring public to use the hotline's number at 302-9700. In the meantime, he says he hopes to encourage a culture within his ministry that once road infrastructure problems are reported, there is speedy and proper response. Andrew Knowles, ZNS News Network.
Well, Urban Renewal getting some much-needed help from the new Citizens Advisory Committee. Altavi's Munnings tells us exactly what the group will be doing in the community outreach.
It's now their duty to identify and advise urban renewal centers in their community on concerns and problems faced there. These urban renewal citizen advisory committees will also become communication links between those in need and urban renewal by holding community meetings, promote programs to fight crime, and ensure all residents understand urban renewal's ultimate mandate.
Ensuring that mothers and fathers and children can walk in safe neighborhoods. Ensuring that there is the empowering of the area.
The minister responsible for urban renewal, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis, maintains that at this point, residents cannot allow urban renewal to fail. He strongly believes their involvement is vital to the program.
They must be sure to tell the police of things that bother them and their safety. We are all part of the effort, and our combined energy will be the impetus guiding us to success.
Urban renewal is already helping the Christie administration put a dent in crime and unemployment. Even more so, says Prime Minister Perry Christie, who credits the program's successful partnership between residents and police.
You are going to be the eyes, the ears, the sensibilities and sensitivities for this program. You're going to be able to make the program work because you're working in the community.
Each Citizen Advisory Committee comprises up to 15 community leaders representing diverse backgrounds. Bishop Harry Colley thanked the government for this effort on behalf of the group.
We will foster Big Brothers and Big Sisters program, and we will, of course, ensure that the fatherless receive guidance through male partnerships and mentorships.
Corporate citizen Frank Forbes donated $30,000 to the urban renewal programs in New Providence and Grand Bahama. Altavi's Munnings for the ZNS News Network.
And another ZNS News exclusive coming up. We go digging into the counterfeit purse trade in Nassau. You'll be shocked to find out what we found.